Arkansas tied for second in the SEC with LSU, 5 games back at Texas. Really good team. Previously number one a few weeks ago, 37-9, 14-7 in the SEC. 2 sweeps to start, or 3 sweeps rather, to start off SEC play: South Carolina, Missouri, Vandy, and then the last 3 weeks they've lost series to Georgia, A&M, and Florida. What's going on with these Arkansas Razorbacks? I know they're your team, Zach. Talk to us about what's going on with this Razorback team.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the bats have been hot. They haven't got the pitching. Their pitching, which was supposed to be their strength this season, really hasn't been as strong as what you would think.
It's
You
pretty
know,
good
whether
statistically. Like they're 3.8 team ERA. That Zach Root dude, man, he's got 81 Ks on. I mean, they've got some
yeah,
arms. I think statistically it looks good, but probably what you really mean is like it just hasn't turned up the last 3 weeks. Like they've gone backwards from where they
yeah,
started.
yeah. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. And to your point, they lost the last 3 series. Um, but they just, their starters have been very good, yes. But you look at their backup guys, and outside of Jimenez, they've really not done what you would think they have. Christian Fouch hasn't been as good necessarily as you would have thought he would be. Um, and maybe the more devastating blow was the fact that they lost Carson Wiggins, who's probably got the most pure stuff on the team. And he blew out his elbow on a pickoff throw to first base this past
Oh
weekend. So
no.
you really hate to see that. Just
Yeah.
you hate to see the injuries, but yeah, I mean, again, the thing to me is like their hitting is light years better than where it has been in the past couple years. And now it's almost like their bullpen guys aren't getting the job done. It's the
Yeah.
pitching actually that has been the issue of late. So, but from a hitting side, I mean, in my opinion, they've got 2 of the best hitters in the entire SEC, and the Eloy brothers. Like those guys are human highlight reels to play.
Yeah.
Like they're
Listen
insane.
to this. The Eloy brothers have combined for 109 RBIs, 28 home runs, 28 doubles, a triple. Offensively, those 2 guys are sick. And then the Eloy brothers are getting all the pub, and they are really good. They deserve it. But they got 4 guys that are over 45 RBI this year on that Arkansas lineup. So
Yeah.
this is a team that bangs the ball. And as we start talking about predictions, though, guys, I wonder. We've seen this before. We saw this Georgia team come into Dish Falk that couldn't be stopped. This Georgia offense did nothing. We've seen this Aggie offense that had just gotten so red hot just come in and just look pedestrian against I mean, I'm not saying that this Arkansas offense can't crack the code and get the ball around on this Texas pitching staff, but I'm not. I mean, someone's going to have to show me, like, before I'm going to say, oh, this offense is really good, they're going to bust Texas up. Like, I'm not going to do that until I see somebody that's really good bust Texas up, because it just hasn't happened at all.
But I mean, at the same time, Texas was playing. I mean, as tired as the little tirade is that Aggies like to say, like Texas was at home against LSU, they were at home against A&M, they were at home
Mm,
against Georgia, right? Like the
yeah, the
Dish
pitch.
Falk plays a lot bigger than a lot of these other stadiums, and um, they canceled. So Arkansas has already canceled their game against Missouri State, which is actually a pretty tough matchup because Missouri State's got a decent little team. They canceled that game tomorrow night, so they're going to be a little fresher. They're not going to have necessarily the wear and tear that Texas does, having had such an emotional weekend and have played a Tuesday night game and not having to travel. So, yeah, to me, I still think, in my opinion, that A&M is the hardest series that Texas has played, but right up there is Arkansas. I mean, I picked them to play second in the SEC this season, and they just have a lot of the pieces. I mean, they've got a lot of talent. So
Yeah,
it'll be
they're a really
interesting.
good
It'll be
team,
a
and
really tough match.
yeah, I mean, they're obviously a really good team, and a lot of the things we talked about with Texas A&M and the rivalry, a lot of people forget. Way back in the day, Arkansas and Texas might have been as big of a rivalry as you could get, especially on the football field. Those, you talk about A&M fans hating Texas, you talk about Texas Tech fans hating Texas. Arkansas fans have no love in their hearts for Texas Longhorns. So I do think that is something to think about, as we go into Fayetteville, which they call Fayetteville lovingly, because it's a mess, man. It's not going to be a friendly environment for these Texas Longhorns. So it'll just be another one of those things that this team will have to try to overcome this weekend if they're going to walk out of there with a win. Marc, what do you think, like, looking at this series, what do you think the keys are headed in for this Texas team?
That's a very good question. I think it's going to be the way that they handle the environment, right? You talk about the hate from the Arkansas side. I'm anticipating that the type of environment that we just talked about in Austin for A&M and some of the big series before that are going to be what you're going to see in Fayetteville, right? They're probably top three in terms of home field advantage in college baseball, and they have the number one ranked Texas Longhorns coming into town. I think they're going to be ready for that. I'll be honest with you, when we go on the road, or even when we have good teams come to Austin, I would much rather play them when they're hot than play them when they've lost three series in a row.
Yeah.
Just because Arkansas is better than that, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't looked it up. I will guess that Arkansas probably hasn't lost four series in a row in a decade. I could be wrong, but I feel like they're good every year, right?
Yeah.
And losing four series in a row is not common for them. So I think they're going to be charged up and ready to go, and that's just going to be the biggest thing for us is how we handle the environment. And again, I think when you start talking about some of the depth issues from a starting pitching perspective, we're gonna have somebody on Sunday that's not used to those type of environments
Yeah.
necessarily. That's gonna have to step up and be on the mound for a really big game. So it's going to be quite a challenge for Texas, and I think all things considered, probably the biggest challenge of the season so far.
And Texas is 2-7 in the last 9 games against Arkansas. Their last win came back in 2020, that ill-fated 2020 season, and then even worse, the 2019 season. But Texas hasn't won in Fayetteville since 1991. So,
We're getting statted. We're getting
but
statted
again,
by Zach.
going back to Mark's point, they've lost 3 series in a row. Good teams don't lose 4 series in a row, and they are a good team, right? And so it's kind of good on good, which is great for college baseball. But man, it's a hell of a matchup. Um, and then the other thing I look into is at this time of the season, home field advantage matters a lot. This past weekend, the home field team went 8-0 in the SEC. Every single home series was won. And so again, that's you're not going to see that happen every single weekend, but that's typical of this time of year where all the teams are a little beat up, they're a little worn down, in that those fans help energize those players and just get the little extra out of them. So yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had Marc, you mentioned it last week. Tons of storylines about that game, about that series with Texas A&M. There's a lot of little behind the scenes storylines with this one too. Again, a lot of I think a lot of the younger Texas fans probably just don't remember like the Southwest Conference days and all those things when these two schools battled it out a lot in football, baseball, basketball, those things. So that place is going to be a zoo. I wound up deciding not to go. I had hotel and everything, and I just thought, man, I've got so much stuff going on these last few weekends of before we hit summer. I just can't do it. I got to stay back, and I really wish I could go because I think it's going to be just one of those environments that's just absolutely nuts. So yeah, man, it'll be really interesting. I think my keys are kind of the crowd is definitely one of them, like being able to handle the environment, but I kind of rolled that up into something else called just be you. Like everybody on this Texas roster just needs to go out and be them, and they don't need to be anything more than they are. We've already seen when this team just goes and does what it does and everybody just does their part, this team is really, really tough to beat. And I don't care if you're playing in Fayetteville. I don't care if you're playing in Austin. I don't care where you're playing. When they're playing their brand of baseball, which I think is kind of dirtbaggy and kind of gritty and just, you know, in your face. They're tough to beat. And so for this Texas team, I think it's almost, don't get too ramped up. Don't worry so much about that environment. Just go do what you've been doing all season long. And I think you give yourself an opportunity to be successful. That doesn't mean they will be successful. It just means like you're in the picture. And I think the biggest thing is be patient at the plate, because I've seen Arkansas a few times this year, not a whole lot. They can spin it a little bit. They throw a lot of breaking pitches, and we have some guys right now that are kind of struggling to tell the difference between breaking pitch and fastball, and they're swinging at a lot of stuff that's winding up not being close. And I think that'll be the key. Like, can we continue this sort of pattern where we're getting these guys deep in counts, just consistently up and down the lineup, and then getting them out of the game. And then where we start to see some of the guys that aren't spinning it as well do rely on fastballs more. And then that's where we attack. So to me, those are kind of the keys as they head into this weekend.